Welcome to the Ring City. So after my last romp throughout Elden Ring, I decided to take a vacation. A nice spa day or weekend or week, so to speak, and head to my favorite place for rehab, my favorite place for drinks, my favorite place where you drown your woes and your sorrows in a bloody bath of hosts and phantoms. The Ringed City DLC. That's right, Rendan Invades the Ring City is here. It's in your face. It is this video that you are watching. Watch the partisan poke. It is the powerful poking partisan, and it is a lot of fun. No R2s though. I used one or two R2s, but I honestly forget that they're a thing most of this video. But you know what we do have in the Ring City? Spears of the Church. Can't invade without actually becoming a Spear of the Church. It's nearly impossible. In fact, for the first couple hours, all I was doing was this. Invading people as the boss of this world. Not that I'm complaining. I like being the boss. I am the boss in real life. I'm not the boss in real life, although I am in this arena. So, what makes this fun? Sometimes it is fun, sometimes it's not fun. But it's different. It's very different than Elden Ring. There are no boss PvP fights in Elden Ring. I have a theory. It's because they didn't want people to have to deal with PvP more than they had to in Elden Ring. Seems to be the theme throughout. So a boss in Elden Ring that involves PvP probably would be looked upon disfavorably by the 3 million strong horde of PvEers. But anyway, I digress. It happens a couple times in this vid, so you will see it again. Watch this person, this brilliant man, this Lou Bagel, intimidate me with his great sword. So intimidated was I, and so much could he tell, that he would gesture at me next to the death crystal blighting enemy, and he, wow, look terrifying. I'm rooted to the spot. I'm that was funny to watch. Watch this phantom get a probably unintentional parry off of me with the katana, the Uchi katana. If it was intentional, this is the most bad man of all time, although he doesn't do it again, so I'm skeptical. He just seems to be holding it like Moonveil. Maybe he's better than that, I have no idea. Anyway, I'm back. This is also a Spear of the Church invasion. Again, it was like the first 3 or 4 hours. Rendan, are you going to do this voice the entire invasion? If so, are you going to do voices more often? And if so, are you not just a literal copy of Saint Riot, a shittier copy, a copy made in Elden Ring, which is inferior to DS3, so therefore inferior to Saint Riot? The answer to that question is probably one that you would expect. And it is yes, no, or no, yes. I am not our shitty Saint Riot. I am Rendan. And I invade the Ring City. Rendan. Welcome to the Ring City. Alright, I'll stop the voice for a minute. The Ring City is still pretty fun to invade. There is still some phantoms, phantoms and hosts, although you kind of have to pick your spots. A lot of times what you're going to be doing is you're going to be fighting hosts that are hanging out at the top of the inner Ring City wall bonfire. Just, kind of waiting. They're not really progressing. They're waiting for invaders to come up there and fight them, or waiting for someone to summon to help them. But if you spend enough time, you will find some fun invasions to go through. I know I certainly did. I fought plenty of people at bonfires and graces, but occasionally I would find some very fun fights with multiple people. And those are the ones I wanted to kind of record and just participate in, really. Even if I didn't get good footage or if I forgot about it, I just wanted to invade some parties in the Ring City. You'll see here that they're doing a good job of utilizing the seeds, which I would have looked upon disfavorably back in the heyday of DS3 when there was like constantly 3 phantoms and hosts running around. But now that there's less, there's just at most 2 people, I'm all for, them using the seeds in this. This is fine. It makes it more interesting for me. I can have to fight and be aware of some of the extra enemies, and so it feels a little bit more balanced, especially because a lot of these people, some of them are okay, actually. I fought people that are pretty good. But most of them, are not. They're either coming back from Elden Ring or they've never played Dark Souls 3 before. So they don't really know the mechanics. They don't really know his stuff as much. So yeah, again, it's been fun. And I'm totally fine with, fighting some extra NPCs if they want to do that. Because it did happen several times. This person you can see here is using the Dragon's Tooth, and they are just mollywomping me to death with it. They're using, they're actually pretty close a couple times. They're using lightning pots very well too. Almost nailed me with it. They're getting me down to low health and then hitting me or throwing those lightning pots. So this person may have some experience in PvP. I'm not really sure. They know how to use the Endure. They know how to combo with that, which is literally just R1, R1. But that's okay, because I have the infinite cheat code. I have the way to beat it. I have the Black Knight Halberd, which is OP as hell for anything poise related. This is one of the fights I'm talking about. This guy, this fool here. It's kind of hard to tell, actually, in Dark Souls 3. I forget a little bit, because this guy uses deep protection, which at first I'm a little bit like, okay, this person has no idea what they're doing. But then the way they move and their control of spacing, it kind of seems to indicate that's not the case. So maybe, did they change deep protection? Was deep protection ever good? Is there some synergy on this build I'm not aware of? Maybe it gives him a little bit more defense since he's not wearing anything. It's like kind of a cosplay. But again, deep protection is what confounded me. I was like, okay, this person does not know what they're doing. But then they did know what they were doing. They almost beat me. So I don't know. Anyway, this was fun. I enjoyed whatever or whoever this was, whatever they were going for. This was very interesting. The executioner, what is it? The man-eater hatchet there. I can't remember if it's a sword or a hatchet. I think it's a hatchet. Is a good weapon. It is a scary weapon. It can do a lot of damage. So I knew I had to be very careful of it. I had kind of the range advantage here. Neither of us were healing, so I knew it was going to be kind of like just a duel, and just, you know, whoever wins at that point. But it was close. It was very close. This was fun. I had a couple situations like this that I really, really enjoyed in Dark Souls 3. So I will be coming back again. But anyway, Partisan is working in my favor. The pokes are missing, but in the end, the pokes for the Partisan are too powerful. They're far too powerful for any normal man, woman, or hollow to bear. This is one of the recent examples, actually, of something I noticed I have gotten much better at as an invader since playing Elden Ring. How fast I can swap out things in Dark Souls 3 is way better than I could ever do back in the heyday. Like, I thought I was good back in the day. I had no idea. I was a mere babe, a mere hollow pup compared to the stuff that I can do now. I am strong. I am incredible. I am so fucking good. I am I'm a little better, which is nice. It's always nice to be a little bit better. And you know, I find that I can switch these weapons out very quickly, very effectively for different situations. You see, oh look, I did an R2 there. It was one R2. And then I remember I can do R2. And I'm like, oh, I should throw those in for the clip, because people will think I'm just pressing R1. But if I press R2 a couple of times, they'll be like, oh, he's fancy. Check it out. Oh, R2, it hits. Nice. Anyway, I realized that I can pretty safely and reliably swap hard swap weapons in these, and that's something again I could never really do quite super effectively in Dark Souls 3. So it's nice to be able to see that and remember that progression that I have now. All these fights were pretty damn fun. This guy is using, or this girl, you know, whoever, this player is using the Exile Curved Greatsword, which it's also a very scary weapon. I think if those were Dark Infused back in the day, maybe I'm thinking of the Herald Curved Greatsword, but they would do a shit ton of damage, like a crap ton of damage. And so I had to be very, very, very careful with that. But I've got the Mira Greatsword here, and that weapon art is going to poke them real good from a long way away. See here, I think that they've actually run out of Estus, unfortunately. I was trying to give them a little bit of time to heal, see if they would you know, do it, but I think that they're just out of Estus, unfortunately. So I'm gonna put them out of their mercy and in this fight. It was a good fight. Tupapa Casillas. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name, but it was fun. I had a good time. So thanks for the duel. I was really hoping to get one like this, just one invasion along the Archer route from the start of the DLC to the giant here, and I managed to get one, and holy crap, was it worth it? It was great. This to the host and Phantom, this is probably one of the dickest moves an invader can pull, but it'll probably never happen to me again in Elden Ring, or Elden Ring, God, in Dark Souls 3, because there's just not enough activity going on. So I was like, no, I'm gonna embrace this. I'm gonna cheese this. I'm gonna have fun. And I'll be, I won't. They'll be able to run again when I'm not on, and then they'll get by. But that's okay. Clinton, Latoris will die because they missed their role, and I will wait here for the host to see if I can knock them off with my Millwood Great Bow here, best range weapon in the game. As you can see here, seeing if I can maybe get a cheeky shot off the ladder, but they know somewhat of what they're doing. Escanor here, the man, the myth, the legend of Escanor. Will play smart and hide down there. Unfortunately, he will not play, or they will not play smart enough, because they forget that there are angles in this game. And if you have angles and you have ranges, then you can hit someone with the with the Millwood arrows from a distance. And yeah, unfortunately, he probably should have gone up the ladder. So anyway, that will be GG, but it was fun. Fun for me, at least. I had a great time. I think it's time to talk about lore, right? We're about 13, 14 minutes into the video. I think it's a good time to break it down. Normally I do it at the beginning, but we're going to get some lore exposition now. So, the rings I have on this character, and you might be wondering, Rendan, if you're talking about lore, why you start with rings? Well, if this is a lore build, it's also a practical build, but if it's a lore build, the ring should have some significance, right? Well, the Prisoner's Chain and the Ring of Favor plus 3 don't really. They're just useful rings, very good rings. They've always been very good. But the two other rings I have are practical and lore-based, which is kind of a fun combination for me. First is the Silver Cat ring, and the second is the Chloranthy ring plus 3. And now, again, you might be saying, Rendan, those are practical rings, or at least one of them might be a practical ring. Why are they lore rings to you? Well, first of all, we'll talk about the Silver Cat ring. Silver Cat ring represents I guess, could be a god, it could be some sort of very powerful spirit from the early age of fire. However you want to view it, there have been important cats in several of the early Dark Souls games. First one was the leader of an invasion covenant, and the second one was an NPC in Dark Souls 2 that could have been tied to all sorts of entities and characters in the Souls games, including possibly Velka, but it's a lot of it's speculation. But why I like the idea of that on this character, first of all, I didn't need a fourth ring slot. I was thinking about it, and there just wasn't really any ring that I particularly needed, so I decided to go with the luxury item, the Silver Cat ring, to just always have that ability to avoid fall damage all the time without having to just swap it when I'm jumping off of something. So again, a luxury item, but one that is for convenience sake and is very nice. Also, this character, I like to imagine, is a very old invader, been invading since the early days of Mira and the Age of Fire. I'll talk about the character a little bit later on. Again, his name is Islatiel, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. And so if he's been invading for that long, it's conceivable that at one point in time he could have served a certain covenant, or controlled by a cat in a different part of the lands of Dark Souls.
in Lordran at the time, and that would make him, kind of pretty ancient, actually. And it's just kind of a neat idea that the ring would be given to him as time for his service in that covenant. And the Chloranthy ring is, well, if you played the Ring City, you'll know, you would have gotten the lore, I guess, little description, or not the description, the little lore setting that we all got with Gwyn gifting the Chloranthy ring +3 to the Pygmy Lord in the statue at the end of the DLC. Basically, what it symbolized was a long-standing question about where the Chloranthy ring came from and what the symbol meant. Because we had the Chloranthy ring since Dark Souls 1. But even in Dark Souls 1, the description said something about, it's an ancient symbol, we don't know where it comes from. Well, now we know where it comes from. We know it comes from the very beginning of the Age of Fire, after the defeat of the dragons, when Gwyn gifted the Ringed City and Filianor to the Pygmies. Now, it's an interesting item, and it's really cool because not only is it a green blossom symbolizing, a gift of prosperity, a gift of a really great, beautiful city to the Pygmies, also the gift of, life and energy to the city in the form of Filianor. It is also a ring, and the city is a ringed city. So it's a symbol of prosperity, but also Gwyn trapping the Pygmies in ringing their city, ringing in the Dark Soul. And so it's a symbol. It's one of the oldest and most interesting lore symbols in a ring you can have, and that's just really, really cool to me. It's such a neat idea. So again, this invader is a very old invader coming to the Ring City. They found this ring and they realized what it meant, and they realized, he realized the whole history, in Gwyn's history in the Age of Fire and what's been going on. So now he invades in the Ring City. Well, he invades everywhere, but for this video, he invades in the Ring City, and he's just been an invader for a really, really long time. The Chloranthy ring is also really, really useful for any aggressive builds in Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, actually. It just allows you to recover a lot of stamina really quickly, and it's kind of your get out of making a mistake card in both of those games. I was actually talking about this with Lapista Nuda, Halo, and No Name. I think it was last week regarding this, but just for a ring to allow you to have really, really increased stamina regeneration is a whole lot better than a lot of people think, and I think it's something that if you're going to play, fast and aggressively, you're not really using a whole lot of spells. It's something you should at least look at on a build.
Also, let this be a lesson. I was trying to be friendly back here in my invasions in this game. I was like, hey, there's not a whole lot of activity. There's probably not a whole lot of invaders going on, so I'm not going to be an absolute dick all the time. I'm going to try to have some fun, share some stuff with some people, have some good fights. You can see here Thimbo Borgin going to have a nice duel with me at the bonfire, continuing the legend of old. Gonna get a couple of combos off on him, but I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna blender him to death. I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna wait for him to heal. I was like, you know, he's got the bonfire right there, so he has to have some Estus, right? Right? Does he have Estus? Anyway, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to heal. Waiting for him to heal, and he's not doing it. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe he doesn't have any Estus somehow, so I'm going to leave him this Divine Blessing. And be like a nice person and be like, hey, look, no, you can have that. Like, you can heal and we can fight. Like, let's have a jolly good time. We'll have a good fight. And he's, I can see it. I'm hovering over it. I'm saying, hey, there it is right there. You know, you can take it. You can take it. And guess what he's going to do instead? He will disconnect. And guess what I can't pick up now again? My Divine Blessing.
Welcome to the Ring City!
Did I scare you? That's what red men do. That's what evil red men do. This is a silly video. Anyway, this was the last invasion for this video, or this is the last invasion for this video, but I'd been through a lot of fights recently in the last, like, half an hour or so before this that were just bonfire duels, and I was like, you know what, I am going to try to give a cinematic fight to this next person I invade. The character that I'm invading is called Islatiel. It's the, if you know Dark Souls 2 lore, it's the older brother of Lucatiel of Mira. And I was like, well, let me pull I'm going to pull a Maldron the Assassin type of maneuver. And I will slowly fight this person through the level. And just, you know, see how far they can get, see how far I can get, see if we can get them through the entire way. And man, actually did it work really well. It was great. I had a great time. I hope they had a great time. It was just a really nice way to end off all these invasions for the day. And then after everything, they made it all the way down to the bonfire, where we can have one last bonfire fight. Man, what a wholesome invasion. Yes, indeed, if you're out there, just know I tried to send you a message afterwards. I know why you don't accept messages, because most people are shit, but just know I would have sent you a nice message. I had a great time with you again. So thank you for the invasion. And that'll do it for this video. I have been sick throughout this entire thing, so and on Benadryl, so please ignore how dumb this whole video is, but it was fun to invade the Ring City for a little while, and it made an excuse for a nice theme for a video. So catch you in the next one. Enjoy the little bit of the rest of this invasion, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Welcome to the Ring City.